Hello guys and welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm Gio and I'm here for the Roma against AC Milan match preview. It's a sort of a new format that I'm trying out for this time around. I want to see how it works with the live stream. Something that we will be using tomorrow for the live stream watch along. So definitely drop by some comments, some feedback on how all of this is going, as I need to learn the process of live streaming through this way. But we got a big match waiting for us tomorrow night at the Stadio Olimpico in Rome. As I said, it's Roma against AC Milan. Really one of the most important matches so far in our season. So we are playing a Roma side that is doing very good. We are both tied on 2 points, 32 points, sorry about that, in the standings. And we definitely need to sort of stay on pace with Roma and all the rest of the other teams. Of course, we saw Napoli and Lazio both win this weekend, and we need to keep on pace with them. You know, we might be dropping some points in this game against a very strong Roma team, so we cannot let ourselves too down in the standings. Of course, Juventus also won their match today against Torino, so it's important to keep up the pace with all these teams. And against Roma, we will be missing Bonaventura and Bacca once again, two very fundamental players, especially Bonaventura. We kind of saw all the problems that were going on onto that left side last match against Crotone, so hopefully those problems won't reoccur, but there's a very good chance that they might once you guys take a look at the probable starting 11. Now, speaking about this match in general, Milan's doing very good, better than what most people were expecting them to do so far this season, like we have seen. But I still feel like there's some very good teams out there, such as Napoli, that still haven't exploded the way that they're going to for the rest of the season. And this is why Milan need to do well in these important games, such as Roma. We've talked about it a long time now, saying that we need to beat those smaller teams. We need to make sure that we pick up the 3 points against them, but same goes for these teams that are doing quite as well as us. It's important, especially at the end when standings could be decided on head-to-head records, like we have seen with a number of teams last season. So it is important to pick up a result. Personally, I'll be happy even with a point against Roma. If we don't pick up the three points against Roma, I don't think it's gonna be the end of the world, but it definitely we need to at least get a tie of this match. I think if we go to the Olimpico and get a tie, I think it's a pretty good, decent result, because Roma is a very strong team. Taking a look at their home statistics, for example, Roma have never lost so far this season. They are actually unbeaten in 7 games. They have won all 7 games so far at home. The only other team that is doing just as well at home is Juventus, as they won 8 games out of 8. So it's definitely a very difficult task for Milan, in my opinion, going into this match. Not impossible, but improbable that we will see Milan get a win. But anything could happen. We beat Juventus at home earlier this season. Many people saying, what are you thinking of even thinking of beating Juventus? And look at that. We came out with a great match, and Locatelli scored that goal. But, once again, it's these types of matches that we don't necessarily need to go out there and win them 100%. Sure, if the 3 points come in, even better. But what I'm trying to say is that the best thing to do is come out of these matches undefeated, especially when we're playing away from home, such as the Olimpico, a very tough stadium. Now, taking a look at the formation, guys, here's the probable starting 11 against Roma. We got Donnarumma in net, Abate, Paletta, Romagnoli, and Discillo in the back 4. Pasalic, Locatelli, and Bertolacci expected to start in that midfield, and then Suso, Lapadula, and Honda up front. Now, as you guys could tell, lots of changes there, especially in the midfield and up front. The latest reports are saying that Honda might start instead of Niang. even though I don't see a reason as to why Honda should be starting. Sure, Niang missed that penalty shot last game, but I still do think that he deserves a chance to continue starting games and prove his worth. In that midfield, we're seeing the return of Bertolacci. Now, this is something that's kind of surprising to me because, yes, this is going to be his first game back after that injury. And Montella has been saying that Bertolacci has been doing well in training and he's ready to play. But would I really risk him in a match like this? I'm not too sure. On the other hand, it's not like we have the craziest of options as Bonaventura is out of this match and he won't be playing. So you rather play Jose Sosa or Bertolacci in that position. I simply don't know. I think this is a big gamble for Montella. I don't know how well Bertolacci is going to do, especially considering it's his first game back. Will he be able to keep up pace with the great midfield that Roma has? I'm simply not sure. So this is a big gamble in my opinion. Same thing goes for Antonelli. I mean, Antonelli won't be playing in this game. At least he won't be starting, and Deschio will be starting instead on the left back role. But he's kind of back for contention, Antonelli, and Montella said that he's not ready to give him 90 minutes yet, and that is why Deschio has been chosen over. In my opinion, these are all things that are more clear when it comes to training, and I see obviously Montella is looking at these players on a daily basis, so he should know more than us. I still do believe that Bertolacci is a big gamble in that midfield, and I'm very worried looking at this midfield. And when you look at Roma's midfield, I mean, you could just tell the difference in the blink of an eye. You don't really need to be a rocket scientist to look at the difference between the Roma midfield and the Milan midfield and say that the Roma midfield is way better. Like, just taking a look at the left side, if this is actually the starting 11 that will be starting in tomorrow's match, with Deschio, Bertolacci, and on the left, that to me is a lot of problems. That should really weaken this Milan side, like we have seen against Crotone. The left side was completely at fault for many mistakes. They made lots and lots of mistakes. They weren't able to operate in any fashion, really. The right side was doing most of the work and the left side was just really, really poor. And this is what's really worrying me. If we were that poor against Crotone, what are we going to do against Roma? We'll be just getting killed on that left side or not, At the same time, Roma will be missing Totti and Salah. However, they're full of great players, full of players that can make a difference at any point in the match. So, I'm actually worried about this match. I don't think Milan could come out with a win. If they do, I'll be very surprised. But what is important here, once again, like I stated before, is coming out of this match undefeated. Let's at least get a point out of this match. Also because next week, Roma will be playing Juventus. So, I think a positive result will be if we get a point out of this match. And then let those two decide what's happening next week. But we need to focus on ourselves. That's the most important thing. So we'll see how this match plans out. But let's start reading some of your comments and say what you guys think about all of this. What about Mati Fernandez? I'm not really sure if he's been called up. I have to take a look at it once again. But Mati Fernandez, once again, he's another player that just went through injury. And I don't know if he's worth the risk to start in that midfield. I mean, sure, once again, you don't have many options starting on the left. So it's either you go with guys such as Bertolacci or Mati Fernandez, or you go with Jose Sosa. So definitely, those are decisions that have to be made by the coach. He's a guy that looks at these players on a daily basis in training and makes those decisions. So if he could tell that Bertolacci is ready for this type of fixture, then I guess he's ready. But we're going to have to make sure, and we're going to have to see how that plans out tomorrow. And by the way, yes, Mati Fernandez did get called up by Montella. I just made sure of that. Sal McGee says, I think it will be a draw tomorrow. I have a really big feeling, but we have to focus on defense. I mean, Zeko, Salah, very dangerous. Once again, Salah won't be part of that team tomorrow. But yes, Zeko, he's been scoring lots of goals. So definitely a big threat. I hope that we are very solid defensively. We're going to have to be very solid defensively for sure if we want to get a result. We can't concede many chances to Roma because they will be putting them in the back of the net. And Roma, if I'm not mistaken, are the highest scoring team alongside Juventus this season. So definitely they could score lots and lots of goals. Yes, Kuchka is suspended and he won't be playing in this match. He picked up that yellow card there against Crotone last weekend. K27 ISM says Bertolacci may do well. Hope he does great. Once again, it's a big gamble in my opinion. He's a guy that hasn't been playing in a long time, and to start him against Roma, somehow I believe that Montella must have seen something out of this world from him in training, and I do hope he's right. I really do hope he's right. But personally, I think it's a very big gamble. I really do think so. Many people of you are saying that you think there's going to be a draw tomorrow. Once again, if it is a draw, I'll be more than happy. This is a very good Roma team that was really built for a top 3 finish. I don't think this Milan team was built for a top 3 finish. We are doing really well. And like Spalletti mentioned, I think much of the merit needs to go towards Montella. But once again, if you take a look at the Roma team and the Milan team, you could clearly tell who has been built for success and who hasn't. Milan is doing well, and I'm very happy with that. But how much longer could we go with these current players? That is something that we're going to have to test out game after game. And I think this is a really big test before the end of 2016 to see really where do we stand. Because we have been doing well. We have been doing okay against top teams. I mean, Napoli we lost. Juve we won. Inter, they're not really a top team, but we tied against them. Lazio we beat. So, it's not like we did really bad against these top teams. I think we might even be able to get a result. I think a lot of it needs to go into the mentality and psychology of these players. They've been on a good run, on a really good form, and I think if they put their heads together, and I think they could come out great into this match. Once again, a win is improbable, but you just never know in football. Without Bonaventura, we need somebody in the midfield that brings creativity to the game. That is exactly what I'm trying to say. When players such as Bonaventura, so important to the team, go on missing, and you don't have a good player to replace his creativity in that midfield, that is when the problems start. And you take a look at the bench, and you just don't have those players that could fulfill their shoes. And you start asking yourself questions, who's going to play, who's not going to play. I think Bertolacci does have some creativity. Sure, we haven't seen much of it so far last season and this season, big part due to his injury. But I think if we need to put in some creativity into that, I think this is the type of gamble Montella wants to take. And why not? Sometimes you definitely need to have those gambles, especially in big games, like Locatelli against Juventus. Who would have thought that he would have scored that goal? Things just happen. Hey, Blake, how you doing, man? Hope everything is fine with you. The problem, he says, is that we will have injuries. We don't have the right subs. Once again, exactly what I'm trying to say, Blake. There's honestly there's not much depth into that bench, and that is something that we're lacking into. And yes, maybe Bonaventura is being saved for the final against Juventus. Who knows? Sean Samuel says, looking at Bertolacci play, we can see he is very composed. He has a great touch and he could pass. We need to remember that playing for this club, especially being bought with that price tag, brings pressure. Let's support him. Now, yes, you're completely right about that. Bertolacci has been given chances. We have seen it last season. He hasn't performed. That is true. But once again, every player in this team is equal. They're important just as the other one. The one that's not playing and that's sitting on the bench is just as important as a starter. So they need to understand the meaning of this game. They need to understand it, and I'm sure they do know, because if you look at the mentality from this team a few years ago and the mentality of this team this year, you could definitely see there's a change. That is for sure. But how will this change actually impact these players once they're brought onto these big matches? Will they be able to actually play well or not? Will they be able to not make any mistakes, to play better? These are players that need to come out in these big games and show up. They can't just start playing games and just for the sake of playing. We need players that haven't played in a long time, like Bertolacci, and you can make a difference. So hopefully he'll be able to do something well tomorrow. But that is a big hopefully. Sosa is underrated. Please, more chances. He just needs to fit. He's my favorite. I think Jose Sosa has been getting some decent chances. Once again, like Bertolacci in the past, he hasn't been doing great. And that is a big question mark in my opinion. I think Jose Sosa could do better. I've seen him play in those friendlies throughout the season. I don't know if you guys remember around September or something. I've seen good things from Jose Sosa. I'm not saying he's the best player out there, but I've definitely seen decent things from Jose Sosa. So once again, if Bertolacci is being picked over Jose Sosa for a particular reason, then I think Montella knows what he's doing. We'll see what happens once again tomorrow. That is once again the big question mark that we're having in the midfield. But basically, I do believe that left side is still very weak in my opinion. If Honda is starting, De Sciglio not really being on form, and Bertolacci just coming back from injury, it's a very, very risky left side if you ask me. Caleb says, would you think about making a video on some of our best Primavera players? It's always nice to know we have a bright future ahead. I'm actually thinking of doing a series regarding loan players that are out on loan. So maybe I could integrate some Primavera players, but this is something for the future. I will definitely keep it in mind. Hey Blake, once again, first of all, great channel, he says. I really like the idea of discussion on topic. If we win against Roma, Milan will be doing over expectations. And yeah, once again, I definitely agree. I personally think that we're already overdoing our expectations. A third place, actually we're tied for second place at this point, where Roma, after 15 games, the first half of the season is almost done and we're doing that well. This is something that many people weren't expecting, including myself. Who would have thought after 15 games of us being in second place with this current team? Once again, big merit goes to Montella. Let's hope he can continue, but we're definitely going to need some reinforcements in the winter mercato, which I don't want to speak about just yet because the transfer dailies will be starting in about a week or two, and you guys could ask all about those winter transfer questions when the time comes. So let's focus on this match, guys. Just some last minute comments if you guys want to throw them in before I sign off. Once again, I just wanted to recall that tomorrow we will be holding our first ever live stream watch along on the channel. You guys could follow. I'm not really going to be commentating. I'm just pretty much going to be talking to you about how the match is going on, giving you live reactions and so forth about the match, and you guys could discuss with me regarding about the match at the same time while the game is going on. It's something that we're trying out for the first time tomorrow, so hopefully it goes great. I'm pretty sure it will go great. I saw lots of other fan channels, especially with Premier League teams doing this, and they have been doing very well. I just like the fact that there's going to be some live discussion while the game is going on, so this is exactly what I want to do. So we'll see how this goes tomorrow. That's going to be the live stream watch along. It will be starting about 30 minutes before kickoff, where I will be speaking about the starting 11, expectations, and so forth, getting your pre-match comments, and throughout the game, once again, I'll be reading your comments regarding how you think certain players are playing, how you think the team in general is doing, and so forth. Sean Samuel says, do you think Montella should have played with two strikers with Suso behind them instead of playing on the wing? So I'm guessing you're proposing a 4-3-1-2 formation with a trequartista. That could be a solution. I think that is something that Berlusconi will be happy with that trequartista, but I simply don't think Montella is going to be changing formation in this game. The 4-3-3 has been working fine for us. I really don't think why Montella will be changing formation. So that will be about it, guys. Once again, tomorrow the live stream watch along. I won't be live streaming the match on this channel. I am not allowed to do so due to copyright laws. But once again, we'll be doing live reactions and so forth as I will be watching the game with you guys. So lots of exciting moments hopefully tomorrow. Let's hope we get that win, guys. So once again, if you haven't yet, please leave your thoughts and predictions in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe to Rossoneri TV for daily AC Milan videos. Lots of content coming out soon. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the live stream watch along. This has been Gio signing off. And as always, Forza Milan.